Welcome, 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 everybody. It has been awfully crazy at work, so I haven't been able to make a video. Apologies. I am currently making a video on community mobility. Dun, da, da, da. It's going to be not too many slides, but a bunch of information. Public transportation. Public transportation is classified in two sections: fixed route transportation, such as the subway, buses, train, light rail. Pretty much anything that already has a designated route and you're trying to figure out where you fit in on that route in terms of getting to your destination. And there is a paratransit service. And these are the rides that pick you up directly outside of your home. See, told you, a lot of information. It's a little cut off at the bottom, so apologies. I'm just seeing that. Okay. Performance skills required to complete fixed route transportation is the cognitive skills. They have to consider the transit options, read the schedule, figure out a route, calculate the time required to travel to a destination. Their motor skills, the ability to step on and off of the vehicle, maintain balance while walking in a moving vehicle, and maintaining posture control while seated or standing in the moving vehicle. Sensory perceptual skills, the ability to identify obstacles on a public vehicle and judge the spatial relationships to identify the seats, the stop request control button, which in most public transportation is just like a little pull string, and the gap between the vehicle and the sidewalk or platform. Emotional regulation skills, the ability to adjust in a crowd versus an empty environment and handle unexpected events. Communication and social skills that are required. They must be able to ask for directions and obtain information. They also want to be sure that they can not only obtain it, but comprehend and retain it for later. Money management, they need to be able to obtain a monthly pass or use the correct amount to charge for the ticket machine or at the bus itself. So the occupational therapist evaluation is done by assessing the actual community settings, interventions using any and all of these if necessary to address any difficulty the client may have in performing these skills. You also want to educate their family and caregivers on how these skills are needed, if it needs to be modified, and what assistance they can provide. So, performance skills required for completing a paratransit service. They need the ability to make reservations ahead of time and problem solve when the van is late or doesn't show up. They need to be able to get on and off the vehicle with little to no assistance, the ability to get from their door to the curb without assistance, and be able to maintain postural control during the ride. They also have to judge the spatial relationships in navigating between the vehicle and the curb or sidewalk or uneven pavement that they could potentially come encounter with while trying to get in the vehicle. They need to be able to handle the unexpected events such as a no-show, and how would they problem solve to ensure they make it to their appointment or destination. They need to be able to communicate, so they should be able to clearly state their need for a ride and to reserve it, and be able to state the address in a clear, accurate tone, as well as communicate with the driver of any additional needs they have. And they need to have money management so that they can prepare for the fare or manage tickets. And so it's the occupational therapist's job to evaluate and provide interventions needed for this service and familiarity with policies of local transit companies, orientation, and assistance to the client in the application process for a paratransit. So from my personal experience, when utilizing a paratransit, it is public transportation, but it's for individuals with disabilities. So there is a very lengthy application that they have to fill out, and they also have to take it to their doctor. Their doctor has to sign off that the person is unable to ride public transportation, and this is the best factor for them to maintain independence. And then they can go from there setting up the rides once their application has been approved. Personal transportation. This is identified by private vehicles, which is motor and non-motor. So a bicycle, an automobile, scooter, skis, whatever. If it's yours and you get around on it, that is personal transportation, including walking, you guys. So the performance skills needed in order to utilize personal transportation are the ability to adhere to all road rules and problem solve when needed, the ability to maneuver on uneven surfaces and inclines, walk and or drive around obstacles, safely navigate in a personal vehicle or non-motorized vehicle. They need the ability to identify traffic and the traffic signs, judge spatial relationships, and maintain orientation. Ability to adapt to crowds versus empty environments, observe road safety precautions, and handle unexpected events. They must be able to multitask in maintaining social conversations while observing road safety. I thought I changed that. It's supposed to be road safety. Ability to ask for directions and observe pedestrians. Finally, there is also commercial transportation such as taxi services, shuttle, trains, planes, or van services. Finally, supplemental transportation, which are volunteers, nonprofit, or community-based transportation options serving older people and people with disabilities. Now, as an occupational therapist and or assistant, it is our job to be aware of the resources within the community that ensures independence for our clients so that they can work towards IADLs with minimum to no assistance. With that being said, we also need to evaluate what interventions are needed to ensure their safety and success. If you look on the, I believe it's the AOTA PDFs, they go through a list of like adaptive things that you can do for spinal injuries and dementia, etc. But long story short, know your client, know what they will need. Every last one of them, from what I read, was doing trial runs with them, doing a mock run, going on these trips with them, seeing the obstacles they have, so that way you can be able to assess them and give them options to succeed. Again, people, a lot of this is common sense for us. We just got to think about it. Like I say always, happy studying, and thank you so much for subscribing. More is to come, promise. Bye.